Also today is very important ceremony that you all have gathered here together. And as you may usually have heard about Bon Katan or Kathina ceremony, which we call in the Romanized Pali. So Kathina is a festival that take place during the months of October and November. For 2,500 years, families have gathered to take part in the largest alms-giving ceremony like this morning. Friends, old friends, new friends, parents, children, grandchildren join together in a celebration on the theme of harmony. Kathina occurs at the end of Vasa. As you may have known that the monks spend 3 months rains retreat in the monastery where they have undertaken to observe without leaving the temple. During this 3 months retreat, the resident monks of the monastery have been obliged by their rule not to travel unless absolutely necessary. So it's a time for leave-taking and extending a welcome. Also, as winter approaches, the supporters are checking to see that the basic needs of the Sangha, of the community of monks, are being met. It is with regard to the offering of these requisites that this festival comes about. So I'm going to talk about the origin, why the Buddha allowed Kathina ceremony to be existed. According to the Buddhist scriptures, a group of 30 bhikkhus, 30 monks, were journeying together with the intention of spending the retreat season with the Buddha. However, Vasa began before they reached their destination, and it was required that they stop traveling. Although they lived harmoniously during the retreat, the bhikkhus were unhappy at not being able to be with the Master, the Buddha. When they were allowed to travel again, the bhikkhus continued on to see the Buddha. Hearing of their unhappy sojourn, he decided to cheer them up by allowing them to roam freely after the rains retreat to gather clothes for robes. The Buddha knew that nothing is so uplifting as sharing and generosity, and so then established a procedure whereby a bhikkhu could agree among themselves to make a gift of the clothes so acquired to one of the number. And so when they had enough clothes, the bhikkhus set about sewing a robe. In those days, the method used involved spreading the pieces of cloth on the frame and stitching them together. This frame was called Kathina. So in the Buddha's time, the way they make robe and the way that the monk obtain the robe is very, very hard. You know, in the ancient time of India, 2,500 years back, it was really hard to gain the robe. Not like today, the monk easily getting the robe from lay people. Just like today, you all have gathering all the materials in order to offer to the monk. But in the ancient time, in the Buddha's lifetime, it was really hard to get the robe. So the monk have to go and collect different pieces of cloth, and then they combine it, they stitch it together, and they sew it by themselves. Of course, nowadays some traditions still doing so. From that time until now, lay supporters have made a point of offering clothes at the end of Vasa. It is being allowed that this offering can take place at any time during the 4 weeks allowed at the end of retreat. So the Kathina duration lasts only 29 days or only 1 month. That is why it is called timely generosity, timely Dāna, Kala Dāna, Kala Tien. So Kathina is a Kala Dāna because it is timely, it has a specific date. After 1 month, you cannot, the ceremony that you celebrate, it cannot be called a Kathina. The robe that you offer to the monk beside this duration of 1 month cannot be called a Kathina robe, but it is just a normal robe offering. The Sangha are not allowed to request the offering, so it is important that the initiation of the offering and its organization be done entirely by the lay people. Actually, the ceremony is held in such high esteem that it is rare that the Kathina doesn't take place, and supporters will usually agree on a date with the abode of the monastery well in advance. The cloth, according to the Buddha's advice, must be offered to the whole Sangha, not to any particular individual. So the bhikkhus, the monks, have to formally agree as to which of them should receive clothes. About 3 meters of cloth are needed, enough to make up at least one of the main robes. Once the cloth has been offered, the entire community tries to take part in the activity of sewing the new robe. It is being stipulated that this robe be cut soon, and finished before the dawn of the next day. Until recent times, finishing always involved dyeing the robe as well. And even today, in traditional forest monasteries in Burma, Thailand, Cambodia, white cloth is given, and while some of the bhikkhus are cutting and sewing, others are preparing baths of neutral dye. So, on the day of the festival, people begin arriving at monastery early. Some may have come the night before. Bhikkhus and nuns from other monasteries will have been invited and been gathering also. About 10 or 9:30 or 10 a.m. everyone is beginning to settle, and around 10:30 a.m. a lunch is offered to the Sangha, which is tomorrow. I'm talking about the tomorrow event. So people will offer the breakfast and then lunch. Normally we'll start like 9 o'clock. Offer to the Sangha, and then everyone helps themselves to the remainder of the food. About 1 p.m. the ceremonial offering of the clothes and requisite take place with one donor leading the assembly of lay people in taking the refuges and precepts, and then announcing the offering using the following formula. This would be done in both English or maybe Pali language or Khmer language. May we, venerable sirs, present these robes together with the other requisites to the Sangha. So, venerable sirs, please accept these robes and the other requisite from us for our long-lasting welfare and happiness. The cloth is formally presented to two bhikkhus to have been agreed upon by the Sangha. In turn, they announce the donation of all the Kathina offerings and then nominate one senior and well-respected member of the community to receive the robe once it has been made up. The unanimous agreement in silence by the Sangha is strengthened by the collective utterance of sadhu. It is well said. At this point, some of the people leave and begin cutting the cloth. Later, others will join them. The formal Sangha act, which is called Sangha Kamma, of receiving Kathina offering will be completed later in the evening, sometimes very late depending on the weather. When finished, robe ceremonially presented to the appointed bhikkhu. So those who are wise, generous, and free from selfishness give at the appropriate times. Then what is given to those who are worthy and morally sound is an offering of the great purity and substance. Those who likewise show appreciation or perform acts of service make no less suffering, and they also share in this merit. Thus, in giving, the heart is unbounded. What is given is of great fruit and benefits, and those meritorious deeds bring about good fortune in life to come. And also the Buddha said there are 5 benefits that lay devotees, lay donors, or all donors who have donate the Kathina robe to the monks can gain the 5 benefits as follow. One is longevity, ayu. They gain the blessing of living a long life. Secondly, the blessing of good complexion or nobility, vanna. And third is sukha, happiness, living happily because you give robes, you give donation to others, you make others live well and happy. So in return, you also get that. And for number 4, you also will get blessed with the strength, physical strength and mental strength. And finally, wisdom, panya. So because in the whole ceremony involved all activity according to the rules and disciplinary led by the Buddha. So it is really beneficial that we know how to do it, and by so doing we gain more wisdom and understanding. Like today you all have gathered here to monastery and learn to perform ceremonial celebration according to Buddhism and also according to the Cambodian culture. So I think this should be enough for explanation because we are running out of time. So I would like to appreciate all of you, especially the young people who have participated in today's event. And I hope that in the next Kathina or in any other ceremony in our monastery, we'll see all of you present in the temple. សូមដូច្នេះការរៀបរាប់របស់ខ្ញុំបកករណាតាក់ទងនឹងកឋិនទានជាភាសាអង់គ្លេសប្រមាណប៉ុណ្ណេះសូមព្រះមហាថែទានជ្រាបសាធុសាធុសាធុប៉ុណ្ណឹងមិនដឹងថាម៉េចទេ